Hi everyone, good evening. So good to see you all. Hi. Okay. So, hi everyone, I am Hardika Veera, Chief Clinical Dietitian and Head of Kidney Vertical at Coutinho Holistic Healing System. I hope you all are able to hear me well. Please send me a thumbs up if you all are able to hear me well. Please send a thumbs up if you all are able to hear me well. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for confirming. Okay, so considering today is World Alzheimer's Day, we are going to talk a little more about Alzheimer's. What is it? The causes, the symptoms, and what are the top lifestyle changes that one needs to follow or include in their daily regime in order to help prevent, as well as consider if you have any of your loved ones who are suffering from this condition, you can help them as well, right? So without wasting a lot of time, let us first begin with what exactly do you understand by Alzheimer's? What is it? So it's nothing but a common condition, wherein a group of condition rather, which causes dementia. When I'm saying dementia, it means that a person starts having issues with regards to memory, thinking, language, and their behavioral changes as well. Okay, so dementia and Alzheimer's most of the times are taken hand in hand, but I would say dementia is one of the part of Alzheimer's as such. Okay, so now when we have to talk about Alzheimer's, right, what it is, most of us must have related forgetfulness to aging, right, which is right. But when we are talking about Alzheimer's is not only related to aging, the memory loss due to aging, but a lot of other conditions. Okay, wherein it's a progressive disease beginning with mild memory loss, and it can possibly lead to a lot of disability in order to carry on a conversation. For example, currently if you are talking to someone, as in if a person is facing that issue on a long period of time, there is a possibility that you might notice that this person is not able to hold that conversation with you again. Okay, or again with regards to their response to the environment is also affected. Now let us look at what are the signs and symptoms. We all know memory loss, as we spoke about, is one of the signs and symptoms. But apart from memory loss, there are a lot many signs and symptoms. It could be one or more of these, and it may change depending on how it progresses, right? So what are the things that you would notice characteristically in them? So when we talk about memory loss, it's not like, oh, this person told me something, but currently I'm not able to recollect it. Memory loss to an extent wherein you are not able to remember maybe the route. Basically you end up getting lost in the same locality that you might be staying for a longer duration of time. There's a possibility that you keep on repeating the same questions over and over again. Okay, apart from that, a person who is suffering from Alzheimer's, you would notice that this person has issues handling numbers. So be it paying bills or making some calculations with regards to numbers and all of that, you would notice that they really face a lot of difficulties in terms of handling that. Apart from that, you would notice a decreased or poor judgment. When I'm saying that, all of us do make reasonable decisions or judgments depending on the situation, right? For them, it is very difficult to make those decisions or judgments. Many a times you would notice that they end up misplacing things, but they are not even able to root or think back in terms of, when we end up losing something, we generally tend to think that this was the course that I did post that, this is what I had done, let me track back. But that's really difficult in their case. That is not something which is possible. Apart from that, you would also notice a lot of changes in their personality, behavior, as well as the mood. Okay, so something as simple as mood swings, irritability, apathy. When I say apathy, it means they really have no interest in anything that that is there in front of them. Even the best of things, or which they used to enjoy previously, you might see that they showed indifference as such. Okay, apart from that, there are also changes in sleeping patterns that are that would be observed. Okay. However, when we are talking about these skills, there are a few skills which are still preserved. When I'm saying still preserved, what are those? So anything that is related to, say, music, or dancing, or craft, art, or for that matter, drawing. Anything that is related to these skills, it is still preserved, because this part of the brain which controls all these activity is basically affected very late in stage. Okay, so this is with regards to the skills. Now, when we talk about causes, you might be thinking, what really happens? What are the basic causes due to which a person may end up getting Alzheimer's? So there are a lot of researches going on, and based on that researches, it's been said that it's a combination of genetics, the environment, and the lifestyle. Okay, so all three together can contribute towards a person getting Alzheimer's. So let us look at all these in detail. When I talk about genetics, it's hardly 1% or lesser of people who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's who have genetic predisposition or issues which, for sure, which is going to cause Alzheimer's as such. So that's not the case in major cases as such. But apart from that, let us look at what are the other causes or risk factors for that matter. So age, one being one of the major risk factors, as in how a person ages, they have higher chances of developing Alzheimer's. And at the same time, even when I talk about age, I would also like to mention about gender, that females are more prone to get Alzheimer's as compared to males, with regards to a lot of studies that have been done. The number of females that are suffering are generally higher. You would notice this in people, very old people, 70 plus, 75 plus, 80 plus, etc. But in certain cases, you do see certain range wherein 65 and above, the people who are 65 and above also faces this issue. So that's another thing which you may want to be careful about. Apart from that, a few things that you may want to be very careful about is family history. If anyone in the family has Alzheimer's, then you may want to be careful. Apart from that, air pollution. Okay, so studies in animals have indicated that air pollution particulates that are there, which we end up ingesting, it causes the degeneration of nervous system, and in fact it speeds the degeneration of the nervous system. Hence we have to be very careful about that, and ensure that you are doing your breathing exercises in cool in good pure air or environment. Basically stay in some greenery around, so that you can help and improve your lung health as well. Okay, apart from that, a lot of people who have excess alcohol consumption may also be prone to this. People who have sleep deprivation, or they do not end up sleeping well, are also at a higher risk of developing Alzheimer's. Why? Because poor sleep contributes to production of beta amyloid. Okay, that's the protein which is generally in the brain, which is seen in most of the Alzheimer cases. So all the people, many of the people who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and when you check this particular protein, it's been found in higher levels in those cases. So hence sleep as well as Alzheimer's has a very strong connection as such, and we would want to be very careful that a person does sleep well. When I talk about other factors or other parts of lifestyle, what are the other things that one has to be careful about? So one, exercise is very important. So it's not only about that physical activity that we are speaking about. Okay, it's also about mental activity. If you're keeping your brain free, or basically they end up thinking and not utilizing the neurons in the right way, you would notice that these people have higher tendency or are at a higher risk of developing Alzheimer's as compared to a person who is constantly busy, or their mind is constantly busy in productive things. Okay, So that's one major change. But apart from that, when we also talk about physical activity, people who do not walk more or are physically active, you would notice that they have issues right from diabetes, hypertension, and many other conditions, right? The blood flow is also affected. When we are talking about blood flow, we also want to ensure that the blood is reaching our brain cells really well, right? All the nutrients that are required to our brain will happen only when a person is active. If a person is sedentary for a longer duration of time, the oxygen, the blood nutrients, everything that needs to be reached wouldn't be up to that optimum level, right? So that's another aspect of physical activity. But if you are suffering from diabetes, okay, then you would also want to be very careful. They are at higher risk of developing Alzheimer's. In fact, diabetes Alzheimer's disease is also called as type 3 diabetes. Okay, so just understand the connection, because it definitely affects the insulin. The brain basically becomes insulin resistant, and they can no longer respond to insulin. Okay, so thereby, we all know that brain requires glucose as energy, and considering insulin, they become insulin resistant. It also affects the way in which the glucose is being uptaken by the brain cells for its working. Patients suffering from hypertension or chronic kidney disease specifically, there are a lot of studies that have been done, and in fact there's a very strong connection that has been seen with regards to a person who's suffering from CKD and Alzheimer's. So in fact, a person, as in how the disease progresses, the chronic kidney disease, it has also been seen that the level or the symptoms of Alzheimer's also increases. And when that particular person undergoes transplantation, the level of the symptoms has also shown a great decrease as such. So hence there's a very strong direct correlation between CKD as well as Alzheimer's. I would also connect it with considering the kidneys are responsible for removal of the toxins from the system, right? But if it is not really working well, you end up storing those toxins into your system. In such cases, what really happens is all the neurotoxins are also there in the body. You're storing it all within, thereby it affects how your neurons work. Okay, so that's another factor when or how it really affects. When I'm talking about hypertension, blood sugar levels being high, and anything that might affect or interrupt the basic removal of those toxins due to affecting the kidney is all contributed towards this particular risk factors. Okay. Apart from that, high stress levels. Okay, so high stress levels or elevated stress, it also exacerbates Alzheimer's disease, causing more rapid development of pathology or loss in terms of the cognitive function that has been noticed. Okay, so now these are the symptoms that we saw the causes as well. What is it that we can do in our lifestyle without really, being very without making it very difficult? Simple things that can be included. So first and foremost would be, let me talk about nutrition. What are the things that you could do in your nutrition or in terms of your food, the simple changes that we need to do? So number one would be include omega-3 or good fats. Ideally, if I have to contribute to say good fats, within that you would look at omega-3. When I say omega-3, foods such as walnuts, flaxseed oil, you talk about the fish oil, ideally chia seeds, all of these are great sources of omega-3. Omega-3 has antioxidant effect. It also helps in reducing the formation of these amyloid. It is anti-amyloid formation properties as well. So thereby preventing a lot of amyloid production, which might cause more amount of symptoms for or cause Alzheimer's specifically. Okay, so that's another thing that is there. It also improves the enzyme activity in neurons, thereby leading to better transmission in terms of the cells, right? Apart from that, when I talk about other sources, so say good fats such as VCO, that is virgin coconut oil, or if I'm talking about A2 cow ghee, these are also excellent sources which are helpful. So I wouldn't say, you need to discard it completely, but ensure it is included in some amount or in the system. Apart from that, Nufa rich oil, specifically olive oil, it has a lot of bioactive compounds in it which really helps. So try and include olive oil as well. However, please ensure you're not cooking in olive oil. Olive oil has to be used in its raw form. Okay, so that's with regards to the oils or the fats. Secondly, what we all have to include is anti-inflammatory foods, specifically, and antioxidant foods. So when I'm talking about that, all the foods that are rich in vitamin A, C, E, all the fresh fruits and vegetables, when I talk about vitamin C, when I talk about vitamin A, the red and yellow colored, the orange colored foods, basically that's something which you need to include. Nuts and seeds for vitamin E specifically. All of these are great sources of these ACE, and they are very, very potent anti-inflammatories. But the list doesn't end here, including green tea, including maybe matcha tea, including turmeric, green leafy vegetables. All of these are great in terms of including the phytochemicals within our system, which also acts as a great anti-inflammatory. So these are also few things which you could incorporate into your daily regime. Easy, right? So that's something which you can definitely look at doing. Apart from that, there's this one particular brain tonic which Luke has come up with, I would say. You could definitely try and include that in this person's regime. It includes inclusion of turmeric, your cold pressed virgin coconut oil, or you could use pure ghee, A2 ghee, and a pinch of black pepper. So this mixture in itself is great brain tonic, so you could include it in the regular regime of this person. Now this is with regards to the meals, okay? But with regards to vitamins and minerals, your B complex is extremely important. You also have to take care of your vitamin D and B12 specifically, because it has a lot of neuroprotective effect. So please ensure that we get our levels of vitamin D and B12 checked on a timely manner and take required supplementation. Okay. Now coming to exercise. Okay. So when we talk about exercise, I already mentioned about how it affects. So hence it's very important for us that we ensure that a basic walking is something which is included. Apart from that, if you're able to do yoga, if you're able to do or indulge into any other form of activity, please go ahead, do that. However, that walking, even for that 30 minutes a day, is something which is very, very important and going to help with better blood circulation, better removal of waste from the system. So hence, let us try and include that. When we talk about mind, right, exercising our mind, that is something which I had mentioned initially. So when we talk about mind activity, something like Sudoku, maybe puzzles, you could look at in playing some mind games with them, which is also going to help them a lot to exercise their brain, right? Apart from that, you could also have a lot of chats with them, which involves them to think about something which might be, say, 10, 15, 20 years before the incident that has happened at that point of time, which brings about a lot of activity of the neurons for them to think about it. That is also one of the great activities that you can look at including. Okay. Now, apart from that, when you also talk about exercise, we all know exercise is very, very crucial in order to help relieve a person from constipation, for better gut health, for bowel movement, for removal of toxins, all of this. So all in all, it is very, very effective in removal of all these toxins from the system, and thereby ensuring that the person's health is improved. Okay, so that's another aspect. Apart from that, one has to also ensure that the person is sleeping well. I already mentioned about sleep deprivation and how it causes more amyloid protein production as such, which causes more issue, right? The beta amyloid and all. So hence, ensuring that the person is having a proper sleep routine, sleep on time, wake up on time, ensure that you're staying off gadgets, say around 40 to 45 minutes before your bedtime, to ensure you're sleeping well, because the blue light definitely affects your brain cells and affects the quality of sleep as well. Everything, all the recovery, wear and tear, your hormonal balance. Everything happens when you are in that deep state, deep sleep state. Okay, so hence it's very, very crucial that you do sleep well, that the person who might be suffering or having all these issues in terms of dementia or Alzheimer's is also sleeping well, right? Apart from that, last but not the least, I would like to mention that social engagement and activities are also very, very important. When I'm saying this, social interactions, it can support the abilities and skills that are preserved. Okay, so say for example, doing things that are meaningful, enjoyable for them, maybe indulging in any kind of hobbies, gardening, staying close to nature is also very, very therapeutic. Music, listening to music, playing an instrument, music therapy, all of this works well. Apart from that, reading or listening to books, it also helps a lot. Apart from that, what you could also do is including some amount of time. It could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or depending on how much of time they have in hand, ensure they are doing some relaxation techniques, right from deep breathing, meditation, or listening to some instrumental sound which really helps them calm down. Okay, ensure that they are interacting with other senior members or other members in the family as well. Interaction is basically very, very important. And you could plan some board games, you could plan some other activities with all these elderly people who are suffering from Alzheimer's as well. So this is how, you know, you will be able to prevent the loss of cognitive skills, and at the same time you will also be able to prevent a person who you feel that has just started showing these symptoms from progressing it further. So hence, you know, all these conditions or all these situations are very, very important for us to fulfill. These simple lifestyle changes are going to make a major difference as such in that person's life. So that's what I would want to say. Ensure that all these lifestyle pillars are very, very strong in terms of your meals, your activity, your sleep, your stress, and your emotional health is something which is extremely important. That's it from my end for today. Please let me know in case you have any questions. Please let me know in case you have any questions. I would be happy to help. Any questions? Okay, that's great. I think there are no more questions. What I would do is I'm going to quickly wrap up and give the pointers that I spoke about with regards to prevention. So one, in terms of nutrition, ensure there's good fats that has been included, which means good omega-3 sources, your virgin coconut oil or pure A2 ghee. Apart from that, you could also include olive oil, which is MUFA based. That is also very, very effective. All the other anti-inflammatory foods, which might include your vitamin A, C, E rich foods. You can include your green tea, you could include your other colorful fruits and veggies, your green leafy vegetables as well. These are all high in terms of the phenolic compounds, which are great anti-inflammatory in nature. Apart from that, I also spoke about brain tonic, which is a mixture of your tea, your turmeric, your ghee or virgin coconut oil, and a pinch of black pepper. That's something which is amazing. Apart from that, ensure that you are taking care of your B vitamins. Get your vitamin D3 and B12 levels checked on a regular manner to ensure that the levels are optimum and maintained at that level. This is with regards to nutrition. The second pointer that I spoke about was the activity levels, not only the physical activity but also the mind activity, wherein it's very important to exercise our neurons, right? So physical activity is going to help you with your blood circulation, removal of the toxins, improve your digestion, flushing off of the toxins and all of those. But at the same time, when you're talking about the mental activity, ideally, in that case, what really happens is it is something which is good to help exercise your neurons and keep the brain functioning active. Okay. When I talk about the third aspect, which was sleep is very crucial in terms of both the quantity as well as the quality. Ensure that the person is sleeping well, sleeping deep, because most of the recovery, wear and tear, happens at that point of time. Fourth, but last but not the least, the social engagement and other activities in terms of spending some time in nature, gardening activities, indulging in some kind of hobbies that this person enjoys doing, planning some games or basic social interaction between other people, family members, kids. It's very helpful. Apart from that, reading or listening to books, or listening to music and dancing, or basically music therapy in general works wonders. Okay, so this is it with regards to today's session. I hope it helped you all. And I have got a question in terms of turmeric, black pepper and virgin coconut oil. What is the measurement of the same, right? The quantity that you want. Okay, so for that, what you will have to take is take a teaspoon of turmeric, take a teaspoon of VCO or ghee, and a pinch of black pepper. That's it, which is required at a given point of time. I hope that's helpful. Any other question, or we'll log off now? Okay, I think that's it. There are no more questions today. So we'll look into it, or in case you have any questions once the video has been posted, please feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to help you all. Yeah, thank you so much.